Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sitar Gurukul. On the last lesson, I told you about how to find your notes on the fret. On this lesson, I am going to give you an exercise for your right hand. Now, before I continue, let me tell you what the plan is. So, since I can't see you, it's very difficult for me to give you individual exercises, but generally I think the best way to start your sitar journey is if you add layers of practice and then divide it into sets, and then we are going to have you are going to notice yourself if you are developing, and then as I guide you, I can tell you what stage you need to be to practice the next exercises. So, as I keep on continuing to upload videos, you don't really have to follow them all the time. It's very important that you take some time, let's say 3 exercises for a month, and then when you get better, you are going to set benchmarks, and after that you can always change. Now, right now we provided that you have already it's become much more easier for you to sit with the sitar and to hold it for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Provided that that has happened, now we are going to start adding layers. I think the best way to learn sitar is, since you need to have individual control, and sometimes the human mind, it tries to make this balance between the two hands. So, we need individual control of both your hands, so to play sitar freely. I like to start with right hand practices mostly, and then I like to make the left hand follow slow bit by bit. So, on the last class I told you about how to find your notes on the sitar. The formula I gave you was 1 2 gap 1 2 gap 1 2 gap 1 2, and the same on the return 1 2 gap 1 2 gap 1 2 gap 1 2. Provided that you have it's relatively easier for you to play the sargam or finding out the notes. Now, I am going to add one practice. The last practice was playing da 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 4 times, and then ra 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 4 times, and then coming to sa and playing the sa with the middle finger, and then coming back with your index finger doing da 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 ra 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 ra. Now, I am going to add another practice for today. It is also going to be the first time that you are going to strum the chikari strings. So, the top 2 strings that are tuned in sas of 2 octaves are the chikari strings, but what we want around here is that you need to be able to stroke in a way, so that most of your impact is absorbed by the chikari string, but then the pancham and the gandhar and also the jor just a little bit, you get a bit of everything except for the main string. So, your sound, if you only stroke the chikari strings, is going to be like this, but I want a fuller sound. So, this is what we are going to do, just a downward stroke. It does not need to be perfect, you just need to kind of figure out on your own. I will guide you later, but for now I want you to figure out on your own how to get this kind of a sound. A hint is you need a downward stroke, not an outward stroke. So, now for the practice is chikari and da da da. So, 1 chikari and 3 das, 1 chikari and 3 das. So, 1 upstroke and 3 downstroke. So, what we are going to do with this is that your practice will now have 2 layers. So, you are going to start with this practice. That is right, the practice I gave you in the last lesson is going to be your second practice, and this is going to be your first practice. So, this is kind of like comparable to cardio. So, you need to do this to warm up your right hand. So, you warm up for around 10 minutes, that should be your goal, but it is okay if your hand kind of wants to let go in 2 or 3 minutes. In that case, you take sets of at least 3 and try to push yourself as much as you can, because just like exercising, the warm up stage is the warm up stage. When you are getting exhausted and you are still pushing, that is actually the practice stage. So, let me give you a demonstration. You are still going to be playing the sargam from sa to sa and then back again, but this time with chi da da da. So, I am going to take a very slow speed, so you do not get tempted to play fast, it's very important that you play it slow. Here goes. This is a demonstration of how to play the warm up, and right after this you take a break and you make sure that this you have completed at least 3 sets, and every set is going to have 2 times of sa to sa and back, and this is how you play 3 sets. After that you take a very small break. Breaks are important, but it's also important that it's not too big, and then you start playing the sargam, which was from the last exercise. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and you go to sa and back again. The goal of these 2 exercises is to get your right hand more flexible. So that's it for today. I will be there in the next class with a new episode. Till then, happy practice, and I would always recommend you to send me an email on my given email address, and if you bump into any problems at all, I'll be always glad to help. Take care.